written review, and from my memory, and it's going back a long time, is that once you scored your written review, once the elder or whoever on the platform had told you what was the right or the wrong answer, you could share that with the other members in the congregation at the end of the meeting. And it was almost...
How far back are you going?
Man, well, this is, at least 20 years ago, so...
People in Australia are backwards.
Yes, but
your lifestyle is wrong.
Oh, it is. No, hang on a minute, man. We've only got like 4 fast food outlets. This place is like fucking full of them, so don't go there.
No, out of curiosity, what is it? Jack in the Crock? What do you got there?
Yeah, well, you guys got Burger King, and our Burger King is Hungry Jack's, but we've got...
Hungry Jack!
But it's the house.
You are a nation of pedophiles. I see why Australia loves the pedophile adventures. Hungry Jack. I don't want to meet Hungry Jack. Let me say that.
He was kind of scary. We've got McDonald's, we have Pizza Hut, and we have KFC. And then, there's a lot
Those are all, Pizza Hut and KFC are the same conglomerate. But I think we've digressed.
Yeah,
as Slanelka would say. That's Slanelka's word, I will use it. We are digressing, Stephen. We digressed.
Takeaway. But I thought...
And digested.
For some reason, and this might be a false memory, I figured there was some way, and maybe the motive behind these written reviews were to police, the members to police each other. Because at the end, you had a total score, and you sort of now don't quote me. I don't know whether this is a fact.
I'm quoting you on this.
Please don't. But I think
there will be a written review on this video.
I think there was some way that they all kept each other in order, and that was one of the reasons for the written review. You realise, okay, that was false, but I ticked truth, regardless of what my independent thought about the question was. Next time I know better, I'm gonna go truth, even though I thought it was false, and there was no real reason given as to why it was true and not false. And each member would sort of speak to each other about the questions, and well, I ticked truth on that one. And you sort of think, oh fuck, I better tick truth on that one next time as well, or something to that if that question came up in some other way. Now it was either done that way,
crazy.
or JW, it was either done this way. Okay, you're going through it all, and you sort of at the end you're ticking truth. Oh, I'll cross that one because I got that one wrong. Tick that one because, that was right. Fuck, feel good. Well, that was wrong. Shit, Basically,
you're getting a lot of wrong answers.
my percentage rate was pretty low. But because I just used to go, fuck, let's get out of here. But it was a way of the people policing each other. I'm
a people police.
And they all are. And you don't want to do the wrong thing, and you don't want to question why you had ticked false instead of truth. But you just knew next time that one was the one to pick, regardless of even questioning it. But this is going back a long time.
I gotta tell you, I think Australia must have been different because it's nothing like I'm remembering.
Really?
Nothing. You are way in left field.
But well, it was a piece of paper, or maybe a number of bits of paper with a bunch of questions on it, and they were either.
How far back are you remembering? The 70s?
Well, no. Well, 70s, yeah, and early 80s. Okay.
Well, I know that the program in itself it's changed over the years, but I got to tell you, the 80s and 90s, yeah, that I remember were. Oh, you stay right there. I'm zooming in on you. It was insert in the Kingdom Ministry, and it was taken very seriously because that was the night that everyone gets to be douchebags, and everyone gets to. You're right about the policing thing, where everyone, because there would always be a handful of people that forgot it was written review, and then they show up at the Kingdom Hall and be like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. And they wouldn't even have a pen or a pad of paper to write on, but they'd still try to act like they had prepared for the written review. And I'm startled about the thing where you're talking about people saying, "Oh, you got true, I got false." Nah, because when I was doing written review, you studied the answers ahead of time, and you made damn sure the answers were correct. Because once in a blue moon, someone would answer a written review question incorrectly. Like, I remember just a few times where someone would have researched the wrong thing and answered, and the brother conducting would be, no, that's false. And everyone would know that they either did not study or...
Oh, so it was very public to see.
Yes, yes. No, it was the auditorium. They did it with microphones.
Well,
they weren't doing the thing where they're like kids grading each other's papers at school.
No, well, that's what it was, and maybe Australia is different in that sense. But no,
I think it was the 70s thing you're talking about.
Well, it was in the UK as well. They did it that way, which was in the 70s. But
all right, nah.
Silence.
I have different memories altogether. That. It was the auditorium. It was a question and answer thing, and the people. Now you're right. There was different segments. There was like a written answer. There was multiple choice. Yeah. Then there was true and false.
Yeah, okay, and you're right. Yep.
Where most of the wrong answers came in the true and false, because people that didn't study, people that forgot to study for the written review, or they just don't have the mental skills to do. There are people at the Kingdom Hall that, they would love to be. Studious, they just don't have the brain power to do it. And they really don't have the tools to do what it takes to study, scriptural stuff. And they would try to guess on the true and false answers. And they would be humiliated when because they had a 50-50 chance. And some of those were like trick questions.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah.
And that, they set people up to fail. And you could tell that the conductor almost enjoyed it when someone got the wrong answer, and people in the audience, like, when they say, "Oh, that the answer is true, brother," and they'd say, "No, brother, that's false." And
relishing.
Yeah, and then they'd look disappointed. The brother conducting would like look across the audience and look disappointed. And then drop his head down. No, he would drop his head down and look like he was trying to look away from the person he had scolded, and looked down and said, "Let's continue."
For real? Well, I can tell you for now that's not what I remember, but I do remember it was no preparation for it. You were just
no.
Next week we're having a written review, and there was no sort of idea as to what
really
you were researching. You got a pen. And you got the written review given to every member.
So yours was like a pop quiz, because this is entirely different from what I know. Yes. Because the written review that I knew, it was part of the theocratic school schedule, and you were expected to prepare in advance. And if other people looked over at your notepad and you didn't have notes written, you didn't have your answers written out, they would shake. I remember seeing people at the Kingdom Hall that would look over at other people and shake their heads, whisper to their husband, and everything, because the person had not studied.
That's full on. And I want somebody in Australia or in the UK to correct me if I'm wrong, but there was an hour of silence. It was like a test at school,
No, there was a long silence. I remember that. And you heard pages turning, and the brother would be like, 2 minutes, brothers.
That's it. Okay.
And the people, and then you'd hear pages turn some more.
Yeah. And the first one to finish was always there like this. Bang with his pen, sort of thing, like.
Yeah. It was because it was the perfect atmosphere for someone who is haughty or a complete bastard.
Yeah.
That was their opportunity to be a bastard, and they loved it. And being a kid, I enjoyed written review too, because you got to see adults acting like fools,
and it was
adults were acting like kids. Yeah, it was something different.
Was it quarterly fee or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. That's how I remember it. Yeah.
And
you've got the
and what's. And I remember being like, because my dad was a very strict elder, I remember the kids. I remember being 7 years old, had to study for the written review, and my dad expected, it was not a joke, and everything like that. Which it's a joke now, because I could breeze something through that. Like I've like thinking back to those Kingdom ministries now. It's chump. It's chump change. I could breeze through one of those written reviews, no problem. Give you. I could do it with one eyes closed, give you all the correct answers, but at the time there were people that were really afraid, not because there's no reward or punishment other than what people think of you, and that's the genuine fear that Jehovah's Witnesses live in: your reputation and the fear of what people will say behind your back.
Because of the simple embarrassment or the shame that you may feel. I mean, you just mentioned then about people whispering to their husbands or their partners about this person getting like. I don't even remember it being sort of like a personal thing. They would just say, okay, question number 1, the answer 2 was this. And the conductor would be giving you, and you just cross them off yourself and correct them.
No.
Now, look,
No.
again, I could be wrong. Like, this could be a repressed memory. And
No, I think, no, you're usually spot on. I think it was just a time because it did change from written review to oral review later. Because, and I don't know why, but I do know the material, just an observation, the material has been dumbed down year by year or not year by year, but I guess, you know, in 5-year increments, it seems like every few years they have to dumb down the literature. There's less scriptures. And I noticed some of the books. I mean, I read some books where you can read, and they'll have scriptures. They'll have scriptures in them, but it's the same ones over and over. It's the same ones that are in, you know, books on completely different topics, and they'll have the same scriptures quoted over and over. And they're just the generic Jehovah's Witness scriptures. The literature has been. I've read some recent magazines because what I did is I went to a relative's house and pretended like I was going to repent. I've done. And what's funny is I do this like every 2 months, and it keeps working. I can't believe it. I think it, you know, Watchtower, you're not doing a favor by. I mean, there's some short-term benefits to dumbing down your followers, but creating a bunch of, you have an army of dumb people that can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. I'm able to dupe the Jehovah's Witnesses I know all the time. I went to because. My relatives know that they're not supposed to give literature to apostates. That's their big thing now, is they're trying to keep literature away from apostates. Yeah, right. How's that going to work? There's 100 million watchtowers out there. Are you really going to keep them away from us? But that's their goal, is to keep them away. But go to my relative's house, and I say, I think I'm ready to come back to Jehovah.
You guys got Burger King, and our Burger King is Hungry Jack's, but we've got that's the big one.
Hungry Jack!
But it's the house.
You are a nation of pedophiles. I see why Australia loves the pedophile adventures. Hungry Jack. I don't want to meet Hungry Jack. Let me say that.
He was kind of scary. We've got McDonald's, we have Pizza Hut, and we have KFC, and then there's a lot.
Those are all Pizza Hut and KFC are the same.
Or whoever on the platform had told you what was the right or the wrong answer, you could share that with the other members in the congregation at the end of the meeting. And it was almost...
How far back are you going?
Man, well, this is, at least 20 years ago, so...
People in Australia are backwards.
Yes, but
your lifestyle is wrong.
Oh, it is. No, hang on a minute, man. We've only got like 4 fast food outlets. This place is like fucking full of them, so don't go there.
Out of curiosity, what is it? Jack in the Crock? What do you got there? Conglomerate. But I think we've digressed.
Yeah,
as Slanelka would say. That's Slanelka's word, I will use it. We are digressing, Stephen. We digressed.
Takeaway. But I thought...
And digested.
For some reason, and this might be a false memory, I figured there was some way, and maybe the motive behind these written reviews were to police, the members to police each other. Because at the end, you had a total score, and you sort of score at the end of the written review, and from my memory, and it's going back a long time, is that once you scored your written review, once the elder don't quote me, I don't know whether this is a fact.
I'm quoting you on this.
Please don't. But I think
there will be a written review on this video.
I think there was some way that they all kept each other in order, and that was one of the reasons for the written review. You'd realise, okay, that was false, but I ticked truth, regardless of what my independent thought about the question was. Next time I know better, I'm gonna go truth, even though I thought it was false, and there was no